Guys, we are official providers of OET. Even though we're official providers of OET, we are quite small as a school, I guess. So just trying to build us up. I think we are on YouTube now. Guys, I'll start the recording. We'll start the class. Okay. All right, so this is OET Reading. It's Part C. It's a very formal class today. So format, technique, and practice. We'll get started. The first thing to do is just to make sure you guys can all see my text here. Can everyone see this? Do you see a Reading Part C text?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we're doing communicating with patients today. All right, we haven't done that one for a while. The structure of the class is format and skill. We'll discuss that together. Then we'll talk about technique. Give me some, if you want to give me some your own ideas here as well, that would be great to discuss it together. Then we're going to aim to practice. Maybe I'm being a bit ambitious here. Let's say 4 questions. Okay. That's the structure of today. However, before we start, does anyone remember the vocabulary that we learnt on Monday? Any words at all from the vocabulary on Monday? Shout out if you remember them. Ah, wow. Oh, go on. Yeah.
Anomaly.
Anomaly.
Liaise.
Anomaly is one. Liaise is one. Good. Anomaly, liaise. What else?
Well established.
Well established. Good. Seren?
Proactively.
Proactively. Fantastic. What is that one that kind of like means arrogant, or you're assuming nothing bad will happen? Does anyone remember that one beginning with C?
Complacency.
Complacent. Yeah, complacent or complacency. Good. This is a very quick game. Okay, so I'm just gonna describe 2 of the words from Monday. You tell me if you can guess which word I'm talking about. As usual, I'll be testing you on Friday, very quick test on Friday, to see if you still remember these words. Okay, this is a word. Can you guess the word? This word means to like be dynamic, and you don't wait for a problem to happen. You dynamically go out into the world and make sure that that doesn't happen. What word am I thinking about from Monday? Ooh, to act preemptively. Another clue.
Proactive.
Yeah, proactive. There we go. Okay. So this is like to, not just to wait for a problem to happen, but to go out and deal with the problem before it gets really bad. Okay, one more and then we'll start the class. One more. Okay. This word, it means to improve something. Just like make it a bit better. To improve something, to make it a little bit better.
Ameliorate.
Yeah, ameliorate. Now, how do we spell ameliorate? Does anyone remember? A-M. You can all shout out if you know it.
E-L-I-O-R-I.
Ooh, I'm sure. Ameliorate.
A.
Let's see if this is right. What's next, guys? Can you guess? Ameliorate. Ameliorate.
T-E.
Let's see if it's right. Yeah, nice. Now, this word means, what does it mean, Dilruba? To
improve something.
Yeah, something. You can imagine a wound or something that's painful, right? To improve it, to improve something. To make a problem less. To make a problem less bad. Okay. All right. So just to remind you guys, on Friday, I'll be testing on the vocab. This is a reading class. Of course, it's relevant to vocabulary, isn't it? Vocabulary is a big part of reading. If you don't understand the words, how are you going to get the answer? All right. But today the plan is format and skill, technique and practice. Let's start with format. And we did format yesterday for listening. This is now format for reading part C. Amir, would you mind putting on your microphone? Kira, would you mind saying hello here?
Hello, sir.
Fantastic. Both of you, excellent. So the usual thing is something like this. How many questions?
Total 16 questions.
16 questions. Reading part C. Okay, so
yes.
16 questions. Amir, so how many texts are there?
2 texts.
There are 2 texts. And Amir, of course, if we have 2 texts, how many questions per text?
8 questions per text.
Okay, so 2 texts, 8 questions per text. Okay, 8 questions per text. This is the easy stuff, isn't it? All right, thank you, Amir. Thank you, Hatice. Can I speak to Santinder or Noriko? Just tell me what you know about this exam, you guys.
Yes, Stinder.
Okay, so Santinder, right? You've done the exam before, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so these texts, how long are these texts?
Pardon?
How long are these texts? Are they long texts, short texts?
Long test.
They're long. Does anyone want to guess how many words approximately do we normally see?
2,000 to 3,000
I'm
approximately.
not sure if it's, I think it's a bit long.
700.
300.
Naveed, that sounds
100.
about right. It's in the hundreds, it's not in the thousands, okay? It's usually 1.5 pages, isn't it? Or 2 pages. They are long texts. Naveed, what are they about, these texts?
Mostly about like the latest updates about like the health issues or stuff like that.
Yeah, so again, it's just like the listening about research, health issues. What else, guys? It could be research. It could
New
be
ways of doing things.
new ways of doing things, of organizing. Yeah, anything else?
Treatment.
Maybe a new treatment, blah, blah, blah. You get the etc. etc. What does etc. mean, Naveed? Etc.
Means so on.
Like
And
this.
so on. Yeah, more things like this. Okay. All right. So you've got 16 questions in reading part C, 2 texts, 8 questions per text. The texts are long, unfortunately, so it is very difficult. Question types. How many different question types are there? Noriko, could you help me here? Or Pushpa? How many types of question are there?
3.
I mean, I suppose we could say, what is the question style in general, Pushpa? Question style is multiple choice.
Multiple choices.
And we always have the same amount of choices. How many choices? All of you guys, you should all...
4.
Cool.
So this is why, and this is important, isn't it, in part C, because we should eliminate answers more often, right? You should be removing at least 2, okay? But when I say question types, I mean, there's 3 types, isn't there, guys? Pushpa, do you know the 3 types you usually see?
That's normal,
Normal
lexical.
lexical ones, and
Other one will be reference.
Referral.
Reference.
so normal is normal. I don't think I need to say much more about this. Lexical is, what does that mean, Nana? It just means, could you give me a synonym? Or Dilruba? Nana or Dilruba?
Words.
It's just words, it's just vocabulary.
Just a vocab.
Yeah, it could be a phrase though, couldn't it? Not just one word, it could be a phrase, but it's vocabulary. It's testing your understanding of a word like ameliorate, for example, right? Okay, reference. What type of question is a reference question? Denise, could you help me with this, Denise or Maria? A reference question. What's that?
It asks an article and what it refers to.
Yeah, it's not articles though, right? Nearly articles. It would be usually a pronoun.
It will be
Yes,
one
pronoun.
word, 2 words, or little, very small
Yeah,
sentence.
or relative pronoun. Or a word. Yeah. So it asks about a pronoun or a word.
This,
Yeah, go on, Nana.
like this, but meant,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
underneath this, or all about. For
Does
example,
anyone know what this is? What's the grammatical term for this?
Subject.
No, it's indicative. Indicative, right?
Oh,
So this, these, they are indicative words. So, okay, so ask what a pronoun or indicative or just a word, right, refers to. It's very simple. Look at this, okay? Alan, yesterday, what did I do yesterday? I met an old friend.
yeah.
It was nice to see him. It was really nice. And he was funny. Okay, what does he refer to?
Friends.
Right, so that's a reference question, isn't it? I could make it more difficult though. I could say, I met an old friend in a bar. Okay, what about if I say it was old? What does it refer to?
Bar. Now it's bar.
Yeah, so this is a reference question. We're just asking what a word refers back to. Okay, What are they testing us on? Let's move to this big question. Geetha, could you say hello? Or Ruzgar? We always say this, but it's important to understand. Listening Part C is so difficult because you get this strange thing that they are testing. What type of reading? Ruzgar, could you say hello? Or Maria? What type of reading are they testing? Is it reading for detail? No. Right? Is it reading for the main idea? Sometimes, right? I know a lot of you guys know. You can all shout out there. Go on. What is it? Main idea or everyone together? Come on, you know. this.
Inference.
Inference.
Slowing us down here. So inference, we talked about this yesterday. I said already what inference is. Again, guys, tell me, what is inference?
Indirect.
Yeah. And you know what, guys, when I was teaching in high school, the kids in high school, they also have to study inference. It's considered high level, very high level reading. Okay. Inference is indirect meanings. Give you a quick example. Your partner says to you, your boyfriend or your husband or your wife or your girlfriend says, "Are you going to wear that shirt?" What does it mean?
It's a bad dressing.
Don't fear.
That's what
Don't wear.
my
wear.
partner said to me. She said about a couple of months ago, "Are you going to wear that t-shirt, Alan?" And I was like, I looked at this t-shirt and I was like, this is a very tight t-shirt. So but it's not directly stated, is it? It's indirect. It's almost like being polite in a way, right? But in reading, it's much more complicated. This is what they're testing us on, and you will see examples of this today. All right. Does anyone have any questions about the format of the test? Any worries or things you're not sure about? Go on, Hussein.
I couldn't catch the question.
Do you have any? I was saying, does anyone have any general questions? Hussein, tell me this. How many lexical and reference questions do we usually get in the exam?
2.
It's usually 2 and then 2 of these, right?
Yeah.
Is that always true, though? It's not, is it?
Generally.
Sometimes you might get less or a little bit more. Okay. What about this, guys? How should we do this? What's the best technique then? What is the best technique? Naveed, what is the best technique for this part of this exam?
Well, just to basically read the question stem first and then to simplify if it's required.
Yeah, good. So a lot of people who are new, they try to read the answer options, A, B, C, D, and that's a terrible idea. Okay. It's a bit like what I was saying yesterday. Remember yesterday I said, for the listening at the start, you should not focus on the options, right? I was saying that because your brain cannot cope with too much information, right? It's the same here. You can't just expect to read everything and understand everything at the same time. Of course, right? So the general technique we always teach is pretty simple and straightforward. Okay, as Naveed says, step 1 is to read the question stem. You can all see this here. All right. Step 2 is to simplify. Naveed, do we always have to simplify the question?
Not really. So if this question stem is really complicated, so I think it's better to make it simple.
Yeah, sometimes they're very long. Sometimes they can be very short. So only if needed, guys. PRN, simplify. What's step 3? What were we doing yesterday? Does anyone remember here? Step 3 was, what am I going to do now? So I've read the question stem.
Read the text.
Yeah, of course, read the text, right? And at the same time as reading the text, what are we doing?
Eliminate it.
No, not
Okay,
yet.
think about the question.
Yeah, okay. Now this is hard. You need to practice this. Nana, are you able to do this well? Are you able to kind of keep the question in your mind at the same time as reading?
If I was able, I would have passed.
It does help if you can keep reminding yourself why am I reading this, but I even find it difficult to keep everything in my brain. Okay. Once you've done that, anyway, you do your best. Once you've done that, we're going to, everyone, Hussein, Seren, Anka.
Choose.
Eliminate.
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 Read the questions and try to eliminate.
Yeah, and this is
Or
really Paul.
answers.
Paul has driven this technique. This was when we've been teaching OET for 5 years now, me and Paul. He was the first one to really push this, and I think he's right. Okay, that's how Paul gets the answers. All right, so Paul is a better reader than everyone in this class probably. So you guys should do the same really as what he does, which is to try to look for things that are not true. Okay. At the end, though, we have to choose. And what's the time limit we have to choose within? We cannot take 5 minutes to choose the answer.
Probably
2
2
minutes.
minutes for each,
2 minutes.
approximately 2 minutes. Yeah.
Now, of course, Nana, you understand that sometimes you might go to 3.
Even on exam, I do look and I thought, okay, 2 minutes gone. Let's move on. I have done that.
Exactly, because otherwise you're going to have problems. And this is what, to be honest, when I ask someone who fails reading, I often say, why do you think you failed the reading? And they often say, because of timing. I ran out of time. And I say, oh, in reading part A. And they say, no, in part B and C, I ran out of time. So timing is a big issue here. I'm sure many of you know what I'm talking about. You will feel under a lot of pressure. Okay. Now, I just want to go today into a little bit more detail on some of the key techniques. We'll talk first about, well, I'm not going to say 2, I've actually got 4 today. All right. Let's just talk very quickly about elimination. All right. This is elimination. You can see this here. I'm removing answers. Just very, very quickly, why should I remove answers? I might remove an answer because
Not mentioned in the text.
not mentioned. We call this not mentioned or not given. What else, guys?
Partially true.
Partially true. That's normally quite difficult
Opposite.
to do.
DNA.
Doesn't answer the question.
I call this DNA now, Ruzgar, so does not answer the question. What else?
Opposite.
Oh, again?
Opposite answers.
Opposite, yeah. Maybe in the text it says the opposite of the option, so I'm eliminating. Any other reasons? This does not answer question. There is one, and you're going to see a great example of it today, right?
Should be true.
Should be true. Okay, so what is that? Pushpa, was that you?
It will be true in the reality, but there won't be anything mentioned in the.
Yeah, true in reality, but in the text, it's not
There
there.
won't be.
Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
I'll give you a simple example, okay? Wash your hands before surgery. Is that true in reality?
Yes.
You
Yes.
should do it. It should be true, right? But sometimes that can be not given. But because you guys are medical professionals, you think, oh, it must be that, because you know it's true in reality, right? So be very careful with this. You're going to see an example of this today, all right? Also, simplifying the question, we did this yesterday, so I won't talk too much about it today. Go and watch the class from yesterday, or there's many videos on the website. This is step 2, right? How do I simplify the question, guys? What do I need to remove, for example, here?
In the 3rd paragraph.
In the third paragraph.
Yeah, so Maria, why can I remove in the 3rd paragraph? I don't need to, that's not part of the question, is it really? Why?
I mean, we already know we have to read the 3rd paragraph, so we don't have to focus on that part of the question.
Of course, right? So it's here, here's the paragraph, we don't need to think about that. So that's an easy one. What else can I remove here though, Maria? There's lots of examples here. What can I remove? Is not relevant. Anyone?
Articles.
Right?
Articles. How many articles are there?
B.
2. So that's not relevant. That's not relevant. Are there any relative pronouns?
Use of this.
Relative pronouns. Where's the relative pronoun?
Is that?
Right?
Here, right? So we can remove that one. Okay, so writer claims use of disrespectful language. Is there any prepositions here?
Off.
Oh,
Do you think I can remove that or not? What do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah.
Does it still make sense if I
Yes,
don't?
it does. We can
To me
remove.
it does. To me it does.
Yes.
So you just have to make it easier for your brain to understand this question, right? So writer claims use disrespectful language. Now, what about this one? Do I need that one? Preposition.
No.
Language
I think
patient.
you do need that.
Yes.
We
Oh,
need that.
Yeah, we need that.
We need that about, yeah.
Hey guys, I'm going very fast today. If you want to see classes on simplifying the question, they are on the website. All right, it's very easy to find classes on this. I'm just reviewing with you guys. Okay, question 10. We will do this in class today if we can move fast. Do I need to remove the writer?
I think we
No.
can. Right.
This is what I was saying yesterday. Dilruba, could you put your microphone on?
Yes.
Can I remove the writer or not? Here.
Yeah.
The question
Yeah.
is how many guys' opinions are in the para?
We can remove here because there is no other
Yeah,
name
that's subjective.
or
Yeah, only one.
Right?
only one.
I think I
If there
can't
is
see
only
any-
one writer, we can eliminate the writer.
Yeah, because everything is his opinion here. Everything is his opinion, right? But, right, let's imagine that it was like this, okay? Alan believes disrespectful language, right, is actually okay. I don't know why I would say this. Let me just move this over here. You get my point, right? If this now says that, if I say
We
this,
keep writer
then-
because there is as a name.
yeah, well, let me just finish it.
That's
Is
the subject.
very
So
good. Okay,
subject we have to put them.
so do you see the difference, guys? Do you see that now we have two opinions, right? If I change this to claims, for example, right? Is this the same as this?
Right.
No, is it, right?
No,
I didn't write this paragraph. You know what I mean? This is the opinion of Alan. So if you see two opinions, you cannot remove this. But here, I don't think we see more than one opinion. Is that true? I think it's only the writer, right? I don't see any other names or organizations or quotation marks. What about here? Here's some quotation marks. Is that another opinion? What do you think? Yes or no?
no, that's his own.
It's just an example, isn't it? They're just giving an example here. So that means the question really here, guys, is, right, use disrespectful language about patients. What? Right? You could put the preposition back in here if you want, because it's now very short as well. So guys, simplifying the question is very, very important. And I recommend that you watch my classes on this, okay? I'm just reviewing because I want us to practice today. There's other things that are very important in reading, okay? And I want to just quickly talk about those as well today. Vocabulary. All right. Does anyone see the word complacency in this paragraph?
Complacent. Yes.
And we studied this on Monday, right? And many of you did not know what this word meant. How are you going to get the answer if you don't understand a key word in the text? What does it mean, complacency?
Being arrogant.
Overconfident.
Overconfident.
And assuming that what? Assuming nothing bad will happen, right? Okay, so vocabulary is key. Guys, elimination is important. Simplifying the question is important. Vocabulary is also very important. So this is why we always study OET so much. I also want to just emphasize something today before we start. Regular reading. I assume everyone here is reading regularly medical texts. Is that right? Silence. How are you going to be able to understand this if you're not regularly reading paragraphs like this? Right? One of the things that me and Paul really cannot teach you and that you guys need to focus yourself is with regular reading is understanding long sentences. Do you know what I mean?
Bir dakika. Efendim.
You have to be able to process very long sentences.
Duyuyor musun beni?
Oh yeah? Are you speaking to me? No? So I just want to explain this, guys. So look at this sentence here. Can someone read this for me? Kanchan, can you say hello? Or Denise?
Hello.
Yeah, just read that sentence. What does it say? The house that...
The house that sits on the hill near where my old school was.
Okay, does that make sense to everyone?
Yes.
Understand that one? Okay, what about if I say, is really nice when it rains? Do you still understand it? Is your brain able to put all of that together?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I keep adding to this sentence, eventually you will not be able to process it, right? That's one of the big problems with OET. These sentences are not short sentences, are they? Look how long this is, okay? So you have to be able to process long sentences. I can't teach you how to read a long sentence. You just have to practice daily reading long sentences, okay? So does anyone have any materials that how can I practice, how can I read Part C texts? Where can I go to read a similar text to Part C? What should I be looking at?
There are some medical journals like
Yeah. Go on, Anil.
Australian medical journals, British medical journals.
So you should be reading, try and read one of those every day. Just read it one, guys, just read one paragraph. Just one paragraph. What else can we read, guys? BBC News?
We can search on Google Scholars.
Yeah, you could read medical journals from, that's kind of like the same as this. What else can I read to get long sentences like this, guys? What can I do? Do you know about the materials on our website? Does everyone know that we have materials on our website? Do you guys check these out? Let me just quickly show you before we start the test, guys. Look at this. All right, can everyone see this here?
Yes.
Topic,
Yes.
okay, reading. And then if we go to the very bottom, right, we have simplifying the question here as well. Let's simplify the question. There's lots of worksheets here. Okay, you can at least try all of these. There's one more thing that I recommend, guys. Does anyone use, what's that website that's dead good, Anil, that we were talking about? Breaking News, is it?
Yeah. Breaking news.
English.
Breaking news, yeah.
Okay, guys, it's a completely free resource. It might not look very impressive, the website, but it's actually very, very good. And what do you see here? Health. Now, these texts are not as difficult as OET. They are not, but it's still good practice, right? You can read these, you can answer the question. There are questions down here, right? Vocabulary, exercise,
And you can
true, false. Go on, Nana.
you can practice your listening as well on this side.
Yeah, okay. So guys, I'm kind of, just to summarize what I've been saying, okay? All of these things are key, all right? Computer's breaking down now. Okay, let me just paste this here. Breaking news, English. Okay, just to summarize, because we're going to start now. Okay, so look, elimination is key. Make sure you don't focus too much on finding the answer. It's almost impossible sometimes to find the answer. Eliminate 2 options, maybe even 3 options. Okay, simplify the question when it's very long. How can you find the answer if your question does not make sense? If it's too difficult to understand, simplify it. Vocabulary, study vocabulary with SET every week. That's what we do anyway, right? Make sure you take that seriously. Get Paul's documents, get my documents, download them, print them out. Keep a journal or a diary. Lastly, regular reading, medical journals, BBC News, Breaking News English, okay? If you do all these things, I promise you will start to improve, okay? Now, we're going to move on and do a test. Does anyone remember the topic I showed you at the very start of the class? It begins with C.
Communication.
Yeah, communicate with patients, right? Now, studies show that if you can think in general and try to predict what the text is about, it improves reading skills. Okay, so let's just spend 10 seconds now. Can anyone tell me, what is this going to be talking about? Communicating with patients. What will it say? Can anyone guess?
The ways that patients should be interacted with.
Yeah, Navi, do you think that it's going to criticize the way that we communicate?
Probably.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, so it's probably going to say, we don't do it very well, right? And what else will it say, guys? And this is
To
Must be
improve.
clear.
where we should improve.
Must be clear
Right.
when we talk about
Must
patients.
be professional.
There you go. You've just predicted what more or less what it's all about. Okay. So communicating with patients is the topic. I'm going to say goodbye though.